I have some examples in the past of when I've decommissioned equipment, including storage media, and taken it to the Enviro Depot, but before doing that, making sure the data is wiped. We're going to talk about data destruction and what you can do to make sure that sensitive data can't be recovered when you do that type of thing. Now, I've had examples as well where I've recovered used equipment from other people and been able to recover data because it wasn't properly wiped from the device. So with data destruction, we're talking about data not just in its digital form, but also old school physical form, like paper documents that might contain sensitive information that need to be destroyed in some way. It could be film, it could be magnetic tape. Now those can be destroyed in many ways. We could burn them, they could be pulped, or they could be shredded or pulverized. So one way or another, we can destroy this type of storage media to prevent sensitive data from being recovered by unauthorized parties. So besides destroying physical documents, what about on the digital realm? Destroying storage media, and of course the data that resides on that media. Now this can be done for devices that have failed, so failed hard disks that might have contained sensitive information that need to be destroyed or decommissioned. You might have end-of-life policies within your organization that dictates what is to happen when equipment like storage media or laptops reach end of life. Are they reused within the organization? Are they donated to schools or charities? Are they destroyed? And when we do these things, we have to update asset inventory to reflect the fact that we no longer have these items, they've reached end of life. Let's take a look at an example of how you might shred or pulverize at the physical level a disk storage device. You're going to find plenty of these available out on YouTube. Here we have an example of a hard disk shredding device where we essentially just keep dropping hard disks into it and it physically destroys them. So some organizations will have specific ways that this must be done. This is at the hardware physical level, but there are also software wiping tools that you can use to make sure data can no longer be pulled off or recovered from previously used storage media. And this is where digital media sanitization comes into play. Now we know that if we delete a file, it can be recovered very easily. For example, on a Windows machine, even if you empty the recycle bin, it takes nothing to get that data back. Very easy. Same thing is also true, actually, if we reformat a disk partition. Even if you wipe a disk's partitions, it is still possible to recreate those partitions and the data that was on them. Now, we say it's possible because it depends what other activity has occurred since that information was removed off the drive. So there are a number of disk wiping tools that are out there at the software level. Some are designed to wipe solid-state drives or SSDs. Others are designed to wipe hard disk drives, the old magnetic disks with the spinning platters. The idea being that we want to have multiple overwrites of randomized data over and over and over on every storage sector on the disk so that we don't have a way to recover data after the fact. Now for hard disk drives, we also have an option of degaussing. Degaussing is a technique by which we apply a strong magnetic field against the magnetic disk storage platters. What this does is it removes the magnetism from it and therefore makes that data inaccessible. It can no longer be recovered. But that would only be for hard disk drives, not for solid state drives. Let's take a look at a tool that we might use to wipe a USB thumb drive. So the hard disk scrubber tool is one of those tools that you can find for free on the internet and download and install in Windows. There are plenty of other tools that do the same type of thing. Some are command line based, some run in Linux, and so on. So with the hard disk scrubber tool, the first thing I would have to do is select the device I want to wipe. From my drop-down list, I've got drive letter F. This is a USB thumb drive that I've plugged in. Down below, we can specify the type of scrubbing or overwriting that we need, whether it's normal, random patterns only, or Ultra 9-stage, which takes much longer because it's 9 passes of overwriting data, but this is Department of Defense or DoD recommended according to the US government for safety, so that we can't recover any data artifacts after it's been wiped this way. So at this point, when we've made the selection, we just have to click Scrub Drive and it's on its way. So depending on how big the drive is and which scrub type you've selected will determine exactly how long this takes. So it's important to consider the ways that we need to protect data at its end of life, which means destroying it, whether it's at the physical level, doing things like shredding or pulverizing, or at the digital level, doing multi-pass wipes. Yet another way to sanitize digital media is called cryptographic erasure. Now, if you think about it, when you encrypt the contents of a drive, you have an encryption key that's used. And you need a decryption key in order to return to the plain text, to get to what's on the drive. So I wonder what happens then if we remove the cryptographic key. If you don't have a key to decrypt, that data is inaccessible. And so that's a cryptographic erasure. It's another type of way to decommission storage devices that might have used encryption, like self-encrypting drives. So we've seen then how you might apply data destruction techniques to paper documents, film, magnetic tape, destroying the data by maybe pulverizing, shredding, or burning, and then how to apply digital solutions like hard disk scrubbing tools or by using cryptographic erasure to make sure data can no longer be recovered.